A couple of injury updates, but I guess the most obvious one is something happened with Hauser in his first 34 seconds in Syracuse. Any update? And what did you see?
Update is he's out probably 3 to 4 weeks with a lower body. That's as much as we know right now. He just got tangled up. He went back behind the net to play the puck. When he played it hit a Syracuse guy, and it kind of stayed between him and the Syracuse player. And the two of them just got tangled. He fell back over the top of him. So it was an innocent, fluky play.
How crazy is it to then throw Tokarski in? You have to be prepared to come into a game, but probably not that early, and then he goes and shuts the door.
Yeah, it was a heck of a performance by Ticker. Just shows you, why he's played as long as he's played. Obviously, he just had his 500th game pro, which means as a goalie, it's probably 1,000 that you've dressed for. You can't make it that long without talent, but without preparing the right way and being able to handle, especially as a goalie, being able to handle whatever's thrown at you on that particular day. He came in and was rock solid.
You played that position before. I don't know if it's a subjective question or not, but a goalie comes in to relieve the starter. Do you think it's easier than he gets to at the beginning of the game? Would it be harder at that time?
I wasn't a very good goalie, so when I came in, it was usually off the bench. So I'm accustomed to that. I think that I don't think it's probably a difference when you come in. That early, it's probably closer to warm-up, so you could argue that. But like I said, I think it's just more that Ticker's ready for whatever the day is going to throw at him. Whether it's a call up to the NHL and whether it's here, that's like we say about Hauser. Hauser does it in 3 different leagues, and goaltending position in pro there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of things that happen. And you just got to be ready for anything that comes your way.
So with Hauser out for 3 to 4, for tomorrow in Cleveland, Tokarski, and who do you expect?
Ratzlaff. Yeah, Ratzlaff will back up on Saturday.
Is Byro traveling with the team?
Yes.
Okay. So
Byro's probable, I'd say.
Okay. This is a pretty big series. We talked about points, and it felt like 2 weeks ago it was maybe 7-8 point difference. Now you're 3 points apart from Cleveland with 2 games coming up against that. How big can this be?
No bigger than the last game, and no bigger than the next game after that, right? So that's just the way I look at it. And I think that's allowed us over the last 3 years to have a steadiness to us, to not get too rattled when things weren't looking good, and to not get too high when things were really good. This group has had a lot of resilience this year, but over the last couple of years, I am a huge believer that you attack the day in front of you like it's the most important day of your life and of your career. And if you do that and you stack those days on top of each other, good things usually follow. Is this a big game? Yes, but I think we've been playing big games for 30 straight now. It's felt like playoff hockey for about 25 or 30 games.
Well, can you then speak to the progression of this team as the season's gone on? Because it has, for the most part, been a 2-horse race at the top, and now the Amherst are in that conversation.
Sure, I guess we are. but if we start getting concerned with that, the teams right near us or behind us are going to be back with us. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the standings. I'm not worried about Cleveland being 3 points ahead of us. I'm worried about how good we practice today.
There are 9 games left in the regular season. What do you look for in your team internally? Progress going into the playoffs.
We have to earn the playoffs. Playoffs are not earned yet. So I want us to continue our steady season-long march towards being a harder team to play against, towards being a better defensive team that can still be dynamic offensively, towards being a team that sticks up for each other, that blocks shots for each other, and does hard things for each other. That's been that's been a long process. The first 15, 20 games, we were very good offensively and pretty atrocious defensively. And it's just been a long, steady march towards being better in those areas. And we have to keep getting better. We can't be a finished product in game 63 or whatever it is. We every week, every day, you know, and then heading towards the end of the season, you have to have an approach that we have to get better. If you ever think that the team's in a good enough spot to continue, you usually are going to start struggling. So I like that we've been difficult to play against in our own way. We're not the most violently physical team. We're not built for that. But we're playing a demanding style right now. We're taking care of the puck better right now. And those things have allowed us to gain some points in the games, in many of the games over the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Been a long time since you've seen Cleveland. What have you found out about them?
Well, they're a dynamic offensive team. They have some guys up in Columbus right now, and that's part of it. You know, so do we, right? We got guys up in Buffalo, guys out with injury. I mean, the American League is interesting that way, and there's probably plenty of teams that played us last year that were shocked we were in the conference finals. And sometimes it's about when you play teams, what their lineup looks like at that moment, how many guys are out with injuries, how many guys are up at the big club. So that's things you have to deal with at this level. They've got some good players that are in Columbus right now, but they still have an incredibly talented D-core, really mobile, active, athletic, offensively inclined defensive core. And they still have one of, if not the best forwards in our division in Fix Lansky, who is just dynamic every time he's on the ice. So, and then they have two excellent goaltenders, Greaves and Subban. So they're really strong in net, have a really high-end D-core, and they don't have as many of their forwards, their elite forwards, as maybe they did earlier, but they still have some dynamic ones, and obviously probably up there with Barbalea is the most dynamic one in our division.
I think I heard that Rusev got hurt in practice in Buffalo. Is that true? You know?
Yes.
You know,
No idea.
how long he is?
No idea. Yeah.